Fam. How about y'all come on in? Let's have us another visit here on the Humbl Show. I am Grant Fletcher, and joining me as always are my co-hosts, Moonbeam Hallows and Brandon Cox, and we are being joined this week by special guest. He is the reigning Wildkat Sports and Entertainment Heavyweight Champion, and he plays legendary pro wrestler Michael Hayes in the Iron Claw. It is Brady Pierce, everybody. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's up, guys? I'm glad to have you on the show.
Welcome.
I actually brought something. I have something. This is
Wow.
That is it.
Look at that.
Right there.
Heavyweight champion. It is
Love
on
it,
standby.
Hot dang.
That's a title that's been held by Stevie Richards, who was in WWE for like 10 years.
100%.
Yeah, it was held by Stevie Ray, Booker T's brother. It's the real deal, man. It's got a real actual lineage. So thanks for being here.
Man,
absolutely,
yeah. Formal event only belt.
Yeah,
that's right.
Actually, Trevor Murdoch was the previous title holder. I beat Trevor back in June to take the Wildkat heavyweight champion. And Trevor Murdoch is a decorated professional wrestler with WWE in his background, NWA champion as well. So, the belt has been in the hands of the greats for sure.
Trevor's the real deal, man. He is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's your old school Harley Race guy.
That's awesome.
That's true. Kind of built like Harley Race.
Exactly like Harley Race. He is the modern day Harley Race, as I like to put it.
I like it. That's really cool. That's really cool. And thanks for joining us. I know it's later where you are because you're over in Miami. But if you're going to be the champion, you got to be willing to travel.
You got to do it. You got to put in hours.
Based out of New Orleans, we're going to see you at Kayfabe Fest over in Neshoba County, Mississippi, January 13th. Neshoba 100%. County Coliseum. Y'all check it out. You will be in action against is it Zuka King? Is that who you're facing?
Zuka King. Yeah, actually, no. I've known Zuka for a while now. Okay. I've actually known Zuka his whole career. Zuka started in the Carolinas as well as I. He was trained by Bob Keller out of the Carolinas. Very great background. So it'll be a very, very good match. I'm looking forward to it.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yep.
And I guess because your most recent defense was against PJ Hawx, is that right? That was
PJ. Yeah. That was the most. Yep.
That one is on YouTube. I guess in Luke Hawx being the head guy at Wildkat, so that's his dad. So I guess you got to be
right.
You got. There's a lot to consider whenever you're fighting the owner's son, right?
Right, for sure. But I never take it easy on anyone. So.
Good.
So you can't. Don't expect that.
It looked like you didn't, man. Looked like you didn't.
No, not at all.
I'm just now realizing that the Carolinas are the only southern states I have never visited. Brady, what would you say that the Carolinas have to offer that the rest of the South does not?
Oh man, so South Carolina, your best place there is probably Charleston.
I've heard amazing things about Charleston.
Charleston's beautiful. A lot of history in Charleston. If you're into that kind of thing. I love history. I'm a huge history buff, so I'll go look at a house that's built in the 1500s and go can you believe this was built in the 1500s? That's just me. That's how I am. Yeah. So lots and lots and lots of history in Charleston. And then as far as North Carolina, Asheville's beautiful, mountain ranges and stuff. A lot of hiking there. Mm-hmm. So definitely those are two spots you should definitely check out if you're interested in going, taking a trip out that way for sure. Myrtle Beach is kind of, it's a popular destination, but honestly, it's Myrtle Beach. I probably went every single year as a kid. So I don't really ever care to see Myrtle Beach again.
Let me ask you, does Myrtle Beach still have a shag contest?
Because they probably do, yeah.
That's all I know about Myrtle
Beach. Like the hairstyle?
No, you remember the movie
dance,
Shag?
Yeah. So they had a boardwalk in Myrtle Beach, and I think that's where they held that. But I think it's gone now.
How
so
funny.
I'm not sure if they
all
still
I know
do that
about
or not.
Myrtle Beach.
It's the country song, the shagging on the boulevard. That's Alabama. Yeah, Alabama sang that song.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
How you like that?
I'll be honest. I was reading a thread on Reddit. I swear, 30 minutes prior to this, it was what are some of the tourist traps in the U.S. and people did not have so many great things to say about Myrtle Beach. Not to ruin your childhood memories, but it was a bunch of people sliding Myrtle Beach pretty hard, and basically the bottom line was there are other beaches elsewhere that are,
very much so.
I'm pretty
very
sure
much so.
several years ago there was a TV show called Myrtle Manor, which was about I think a trailer park or something like that. Like
that sounds right. I think I know
show.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I know about Myrtle Beach. I've been to Asheville a few times in North Carolina, which is beautiful.
Right.
But
yeah, Asheville's great.
Nonetheless.
Actually, I just got from. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just got back from Asheville a couple of days ago. My significant other she's from Asheville, so we were back for Christmas and stuff, visiting family. So yeah, we literally just got back yesterday.
They get snow this time of year up there, or no?
Usually they do, but right now it's kind of warm, unusually warm up there. So so like right now it's they don't have anything going on up there.
Gosh, what's that big? There's like a big mansion or something like that. Like
the Biltmore House.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I was having a hard time remembering it, but yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. Really, what's funny about that is that whole like area, kind of in the south or whatever, because you're in, like we talked about earlier, you're in Ironclaw, just dropped. I have to admit, I haven't had a chance to see it yet. Of course, by the time this episode drops, I probably will have seen it. But I'm hearing a lot of really, really good things about it.
Right.
And there's a Ric Flair in the movie, like whatever, the Carolina area, to bring it all back in. But you play Michael Hayes in the movie.
That's correct.
Legendary for his wrestling work, still very much involved in the creative process today.
Absolutely.
With WWE. So my first question for you is: did you have to learn Bad Street USA in order to
So it's funny. I've always been a huge fan of professional wrestling, which obviously was what I made a career out of. But coming up through, like my childhood, my dad actually was an independent wrestler when I was coming up. So I learned the history of wrestling early on. So I knew everything about, the fabulous Freebirds and, everything they did and all that kind of stuff. So it was really surreal being able to play someone like Michael P.S. Hayes, knowing how much history the Von Erichs and the Freebirds shared back at the WCCW days at the auditorium or sportatorium, I should say. But it was just unreal, man. Like I still have to pinch myself. And you were talking about like you haven't seen it yet. I've seen it 3 times, of course, already. Yeah. So like it's one of those cool things. We got to go out to Dallas for the premiere and saw it there for the first time, and then lucky enough. We were able to make it home for the holidays, and I got to see it with my family, and then we saw it with my girlfriend's family as well. So it's a really great story. Unfortunate events happen with that family. And I think the movie does a great job at telling the story. And it's a man. I'm telling you, the ending of that movie, it'll bring you to tears. So very heartfelt.
I'm sure it's well. I mean, just knowing, me knowing how it actually ends,
Right, exactly. Like as wrestling fans, we know the story, but I'm telling you, still can't be prepared for it. When you actually see it, acted out, and I know we're going to probably talk about it later, but you have guys like Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White, Harris Dickinson. They're phenomenal actors, and for them to like portray that story and the emotions that they pulled from it, and it was phenomenal getting to watch them, become the Von Erichs. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's very cool. I'm really excited about it. I'm really looking forward to it. And I gotta say, have you ever had a chance to meet Michael Hayes?
I have. So I used to do work with WWE back in the day, and in passing, I've spoken with him here and there, but like. As far as like sitting down and talk with him, no, I haven't actually had a chance to do that, but I may actually get the chance to do that at the end of January coming up. So I'm actually looking forward for that.
Oh, good. I'm sure he'll have notes for you as far as.
I'm sure. I'm really eager to see what he has to say about it. But no, I think everything will be good, and I've gotten really good reviews and good feedback from people who have seen the movie. And of course, Chavo and Luke Hawx was a part of the coordinating of the movie, and they signed off on it right away when we did the things. And one of the cool things about our referee that was in the match that we had while we were filming, he was the actual referee back in the day when you had the real Von Erichs versus the real Freebirds. So we were lucky enough to have his name is James Beard. He's from Texas as well. And so we were lucky enough to have him there to officiate the movie match. But again, at the end of the day, after we are done filming, he comes up to us and is just like, guys, this is literally bringing me back to the real, sportatorium days when the shoot was, at its hottest. To get that sign off for someone who actually was there and saw it actually in real time.
Yeah, and
for him
involved.
to sign off.
Yeah.
Exactly. For him to sign off of it is kind of all I needed to hear. Yeah. So.
I mean, not only that, but to know that who you're very familiar with, the actual, source material, to know that, it seems like this film is entertaining in its own right, but in addition, not really embellishing anything.
Right.
I think that's a big issue with a lot of films, which I can see why that, someone would try to make something, I guess, more, larger than life for the film. But it sounds like this story is already larger than life.
Exactly. You hit it right on the head. Like, you really can't make this story up. Unfortunately, it's a true story that, like, it was meant for a movie, and thankfully we got the opportunity to make the film, and I just nothing but, I mean, obviously I know I'm biased, but nothing but great things for me to say about it from top to bottom.
And what's great about that is it speaks volumes about Wildkat Sports and Entertainment, because they really are like the wrestling component of the movie. I mean,
oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's so many of the Wildkat guys who are also in the movie at various points of the movie. So
right.
Yeah, and Luke Hawx, the owner of Wildkat, is a huge instrumental part of the movie, helping coordinate things. And I don't know if I'm jumping ahead of this or whatever, but Luke is,
you're the guest.
Yeah, so Luke is actually how I got the opportunity to portray Michael P.S. Hayes. And the story of that goes, I originally auditioned for the role of Ric Flair.
Okay.
So like auditioned for the role of Ric Flair, sent it in, probably 2 or 3 weeks goes by, heard absolutely nothing. In the film world, when you do an audition, you send it in. If you don't hear anything, you're probably not going to hear anything at all.
Yeah.
So 2 or 3 weeks goes by, and I remember I was on vacation at the time, and then Luke texts me, and he goes, "Hey, might have an opportunity for you. I need you to film, this little skit here, send it in, and then that." And it was the role of Michael Hayes. And so anyway, got it sent in to Luke. He put it into production. Still 2 or 3 weeks pass by, don't hear anything. And then by that time, I'm just like, okay, well, it's not going to happen. And I remember I was sitting down one day and I get a call from Luke, which Luke calls me all the time. So I didn't really think nothing of it. I answered my phone. He goes, "Hey, they're going to cast you as Michael P.S. Hayes." And I'm like, "Oh, that's great. That's freaking awesome." I'm ecstatic. He goes, and I asked him, I'm like, "When do I start?" And he's like, "Well, they actually need you in Baton Rouge tomorrow." I was like, okay.
You got it.
Let me get down there.
No way.
Exactly. You know what's funny? Because I'm in Baton Rouge. I live in Baton Rouge.
Oh,
and,
wow.
I actually wound up with one of the low boy rings that y'all used for perspective shots. Me and a couple of friends of mine, someone called us, like, "Hey, do y'all want this?" It's like, "You can have it." And we're like, yeah, we do want it. So we
wow. So you still have it?
Yeah, it's missing a lot of things. Don't get me wrong. Like, we still need some, but yeah, we do have it. I don't know.
What is a low boy ring?
What are we going to do with it? I don't know. It's a,
what is that? Like,
I don't. It's a shorter wrestling ring. It's smaller.
Okay.
So like a traditional wrestling ring will have like it'll probably come up to my waist, and a low boy will probably below my kneecaps.
Yeah. It's definitely a backyard wretling ring is what it is.
Right.
That's what it is.
Just Brady, just so you know, if I seem like I'm quiet, it's because I don't know a whole lot about wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's okay.
I mean, I grew up watching WWE, not WWE, what is it?
WWF.
WWF. I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah. I grew up watching that, like at my grandmother's. It would come on. That's about the extent.
Well, if you have any questions at all, I'll try to answer.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I just didn't want you to think that I was.
No, you're good.
You know what's funny about this, Brady, is because we do Comic-Cons. That's what we do. So Moonbeam personally knows like JBL and Mick Foley and
yes.
Jake the Snake and whatnot. Doesn't really know a lot about wrestling though.
That's great. That's funny.
It's really cool, man. Again, thanks for coming on. It's been a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, about the whole, just movie experience as well. Because did you work on Heels? Is that right?
I did. So
Okay.
I doubled Alexander Ludwig as Ace Spade on Heels.
Okay.
Yeah, for both seasons. Yep.
Yeah. So Heels, did y'all see Heels, Moonbeam, Brandon?
I did not know.
There's a wrestling show on Stars, which Wildkat was a very big part of it. Stephen Amell was the lead.
And then
in that show.
Then the guy I doubled was Alexander Ludwig, which was the lead of Vikings, the series Vikings from I think it was the History Channel.
Okay.
Yep. So I've actually since Heels, I've done a lot of doubling work with Alexander. One of the films that's coming up next year, the new Bad Boys movie, I was able to double him on that as well. So I'm excited to see that.
You're like on call now for
exactly. Yeah. No.
You said that there was going to be a new Bad Boys movie?
Yeah.
There is next summer.
You're talking about Will Smith and Martin Lawrence?
We're dropping
which one?
Everybody. Yeah.
Next summer, yeah. So
I'll absolutely see that.
Look, Martin Lawrence movies are my guilty pleasure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
He's a great dude too.
Yeah. You seen Blue Streak? Yeah. Great.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
My gosh.
Black Knight. That was one of my favorite movies whenever I was younger.
Black Knight. Yeah, I like it.
Big Mama's House.
Yeah. Well, look. So here's the deal. So I actually used to, full disclosure, cover Wildkat sports shows for PW Insider.
Really? Okay.
Years ago, before COVID. Now I just don't have time. Like I would love to go and do it again. I just we do this thing now where we put on conventions and things like that. So I haven't had the chance to come out there. So you came actually into the fold after.
It was right after COVID. Yeah. So I actually, met Luke on the Hill scene, and we hit it off right away and became really good friends. So as soon as all that happened with Heels and everything, Luke was like, "You have to come down to Wildkat." So I'm gonna actually jump back here. I had known of Luke ever since, probably 6 years prior to becoming friends with Luke.
Okay.
And it's a funny story because I sent Luke Hawx a friend request probably 6 years prior to him actually accepting my friend request. Because we actually met. Yeah. So we actually meet on Heels. And I tell him, whatever, we're working or whatever. And then he finally accepts my friend request. And I'm like, I sent that to you for like 6 years ago, right? He was like, oh, yeah. So it's funny because I'd known of Luke, and then we actually had the chance to work together, and we hit it off really good. So yeah, I'm one of the boys now.
I mean, what's funny because you had to have been they started running shows again. I guess 2021, right?
2021.
And then you became champion back in June.
I think it was back in June.
So you rose to the top in the promotion.
Oh yeah, it was a quick thing. So I originally became the Wildkat tag team champions with a guy named Damian Wayne. He's out of North Carolina.
Yeah.
We ended up dropping the tag titles to Hawx and Erichs, which is Luke Hawx and his son PJ. And then from there, I basically went on to eventually capture the Wildkat Sports Heavyweight title with Trevor Murdoch, obviously. So no, it was a pretty quick rise for me there at Wildkat, which if you know, like Wildkat, they're the whole talent roster is just stacked. Like the amount of talent that these guys have, and it's just ridiculous. So for me to be able to come in and perform on such a high level to ultimately become the Wildkat heavyweight champion is, a testament of me to my ability, knowing that hey, I can really do this. I can compete at a very high level. So
right.
Yeah. So that's just a shout out to all the people over at Wildkat. They're phenomenal athletes. So, and obviously everyone will see that on the 13th. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Look, when we decided to do a wrestling event in Philadelphia, we put on shows around the South, but we've never done anything in our hometown. And this is where me and Greg live.
Right.
And Brandon.
Your whole reputation is staked on this. Just
look, I live around these people. So I asked Grant because I was like, hey man, what do you think about a wrestling event? And he's like, I'm always down for that. And asked him, I was like, well, how do we do this? Who do we get? And the first thing out of his mouth is like, well, let's ask Wildkat first.
Yes, 100%.
To see if that's even possible.
So have you ever been to a wrestling event before? Like in person?
I mean, I went to one in Buckatuna, Mississippi at a firehouse.
Bless you.
Okay.
There were about 15 people there.
I got you.
And but it wasn't, I don't think it was any kind of professional outfit. I think it was
Right,
just.
right, right.
I
It's
have
like
not been to a wrestling event ever.
right.
So
Really.
that was, and I also, I say that, but I forget that I actually filmed one once. We have a guy that's from our hometown. He was a professional football player. His name is Marcus Dupree.
Okay.
They made one of those 30. What are they called? The 30 and 30.
I think it's the 30-30.
Yeah. They made
something
one of
like
those
that, yeah.
about him. He's a rad guy. He's a friend of mine, and he asked
Awesome.
me to come film. He had a couple of guys from Mid-South Wrestling come and put on
okay.
the show. So it was Coco Beware.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was Tommy Wildfire.
Mhm.
Yeah, and let's see, Road Dog Jesse James
Oh yeah. Okay.
and Josephus Brody.
Oh, he
passed away.
he died. Yeah, he
Yes,
passed away.
I knew he passed away.
Yeah, great
And,
dude. Oh my God, great guy.
Yeah, they was really cool. And then
Oh.
Dutch,
Dutch
Mantel?
yeah,
Yeah.
he was there too.
Awesome.
So I have been to that event,
Right.
and I filmed it.
Did Coco Beware have a parrot?
he did not have it with him.
It's gonna be hard to travel with that bird, man. Gotta
Yeah. But he was flying. He spent about 15 minutes before he got anywhere near the ring, flying around.
Oh yeah. Oh
As he
yeah.
does.
Yeah.
You gotta work it. You gotta work it, man.
He was
Yeah,
really sweet. They were
100%.
all really, really sweet.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Brady,
Yeah.
I mean, because we're talking about names, just like big legendary names. Who would you say is your biggest influence, or who are some of your biggest influences on just your style in the ring and the way you present yourself out there in front of the crowd?
If you go for an old school vibe, I am very big on Arn Anderson.
Okay.
Love Arn Anderson's work. I do his double A spine buster in pretty much every single match that I do.
Love it.
So really big on Arn Anderson in today's world, and I think this performer is probably on par with any performer that's ever lived. And I think that's Randy Orton. He is. If you watch any of his matches, he is so smooth in the ring with everything he does. He's so calculated, no wasted movements at all. So those are two guys that I really try to work my style towards because they were super successful at like an old school style of wrestling, which is my style of wrestling. I'm a very old school style person because that's just the genre that I grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like wrestling is a kind of a deal where it's a circus, right? So you have a little bit for everybody. You need a little bit of your old school wrestling. You need a little bit of your aerial wrestling, like you'll see at the circus, like high flying stuff like that. You need a comedy act. You need some flamboyancy stuff. So I think like in a whole in a spectrum where you look at it, I tend to look at the old school guys like the Harley Races, Arn Andersons, even Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard, all these guys, and mimic my style more to the old school. So that's why I say these guys, but also in a modern era, Randy Orton fits that.
Randy Orton is good, man.
Guys.
And you see him on TV and you're like, man, he's great. And then like you actually go to see WWE live.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch him work live, and you start to pick up on things that you never picked up on before, and you're like, "Oh my god!" Like he's one of the best ever,
100%, yeah.
Which is
it's the
insane.
little things that he does, like when he's like speaking wrestler terms, but when he comes in for his like big babyface comeback, there's the little things that he does with his his body gestures, his facial gestures, and little things that make the performance. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's not a guy going in the ring and just doing moves. It's a guy going in the ring and he's telling a story with his body.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what I look for when I try to, mimic current wrestlers.
And also like that you say that too, because he's got that lineage, right? I mean, he's the son of a legendary wrestler, and you're the son of a wrestler. So I mean, here
100%.
It's fun that you say Randy Orton being one of your bigger influences because of that whole aspect of it as well.
Right. 100%.
Yeah. That's really, really cool. And I got so before we get into the next phase of the show here, what can the people of Neshoba County expect at a Brady Pierce whenever he defends the Wildkat Heavyweight Championship on January 13th.
Right. Yeah. I am a powerhouse. So
All right.
I'll go in. Yeah. I like to throw guys around, not let them get a chance to get up on me. So as long as I can keep the momentum on my side, that's where I like to stay. Of
course.
So heavy fists, heavy boots, I'm going to get in the ring and I'm going to punch you in the face, and I'm going to throw you as far as I possibly can around the ring. That's just
exactly
my
what the people want.
Exactly. Yeah. I just want to come in and, get the job done and leave, get paid, beat him as fast as I can.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Brady, and that's the thing, man, because like you look like a wrestler. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of guys out there that are in wrestling rings, or they don't look like a wrestler. And it's one thing, like when you see people, especially independent wrestlers, it's fun to see like the evolution of that wrestler. You know what I mean? You follow them for a certain point in time over a couple of years, and they evolve in certain ways, and the way they look, the way they work, whatever. But you just look like you're evolved already. You're already there.
Yeah, people don't even realize how big I am until they actually meet me in person, because I'm 6'5", 240.
Right.
So people will see me in person. They're like, "Whoa, you were a lot bigger than I thought you were."
See, I knew you were tall. I didn't realize you were 6'5", though. That's
We are strangely enough pretty much the same. As far as weight and height.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, Brandon's pretty close.
Not a hint of muscle on me, but
well, I see you sprawled across the couch there. You're pretty much taking up the whole thing. So
I'm a comfy man.
Brandon, our resident lounger on the show. That's
there you go.
Yes. Me. I see a scuffle. I see some ruffians. Giving it their all. I'm like, that's gonna be like a lot of effort.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna cheer you on.
Yeah. Hey, pass the Doritos.
Exactly.
It does. It is a lot of effort. And look, because I think your match with PJ Hawx was probably about a maybe over 15-minute match.
Yeah, I think it was around 20 minutes or something like that. Yeah,
maybe so. Bell to bell, maybe 20 minutes, which is a lot to think about because of the fact that think about it like this: like y'all are going the whole time. In boxing and mixed martial arts, there's rounds. They got 3 minutes, they got 5 minutes, and they rest. That is not the case in pro wrestling. You've got to be conditioned for it.
Yeah, it's a constant go, go, go. Your cardio has to be on a different level. And I say this all the time, but there's a difference between like your gym cardio and then in-ring cardio. Because you can go in the gym and you can think you're in shape, and then you go 5 minutes in a ring with someone that is in shape, and you'll have your question yourself there before you get out and say, "Oh my God, maybe I'm not."
That has to do with, you're getting so much thrown at you, both figuratively and literally, in the ring. In addition to being up and at 'em.
100%. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot that that we're having to remember, and then like you add all the the performances behind that, then you'll blow yourself up really, really quick unless you have to. Yeah, you have to really have a different type of cardio going in there for sure. Especially with someone like PJ Hawx, like he's a great wrestler. Like his background's in amateur wrestling, so his cardio is phenomenal. So going into a match with someone like him, I don't want the match to go 20 minutes. You know what I mean? So it's like I got to throw extra hard punches at someone like that.
Good night. Yeah, and look, hey, there's video out there. PJ Hawx is willing to jump from the second floor of a mall.
Oh yeah.
Ring, so
God,
I was there. I saw
that video went viral. It got oh my gosh, so many views.
I wouldn't even jump off my bed. That's like that sort of jumping is why Prince was chomping down Percocets as much as he was at the end of his life.
Look, Brandon, I watched you jump off a karaoke stage.
Yeah, I did do that.
There you go.
Well, there was liquor involved. I'll tell you what, man. I was there for that match, and I was standing there kind of in the back, and I see it's a tag match. He and Luke Hawx, Erichs, and I see him roll out of the ring, and I see him cut around the crowd. So I'm thinking he's going to come in from the other side to like surprise
sneak attack,
and then that'll be the finish, right? Some kind of way, shape, or form. And then he just keeps going. And then I see his foot hit the escalator. And
my God.
There's no way this is about to happen.
It's like, where's it going?
Sure enough, he ran up the escalator, and next thing I knew, he was jumping in the ring.
What would be funnier if he just like didn't run up the escalator and just kind of like waited for the escalator to
What if
take
he-
him all the way?
what if he, like, went
And
to
he's
the
just like
elevator?
everybody's watching.
Oh man.
And just like hit the button on the elevator and waited there, tapping his foot, and like got in there. There's like some lady in there with their kid. You know, they got their bags in there.
That's great.
You know, it would have made for a great movie scene. I'll tell you that much.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, like the
for
cut
sure.
scenes from that, like you cut to the ring and there's like a whole bunch of big body guys hitting each other.
Yeah.
Then you cut to the elevator scene with the elevator music playing in the background. Cut back to the big body guys. Yeah, no, that's for
This I feel like we need to make a pitch for Jingle All the Way 3.
100%.
That sounds like that needs to
Sounds
be
about
in
right.
there.
Big Show was
Yeah.
in the first one, so you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hayes long lineage. We've had this discussion going on all month because we have Kayfabe Fest going up, and we're talking about all you guys being in the movie. Like if I say, hey, name a movie with a wrestler in it, like what's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
Oh man. Well, obviously prior to the Iron Claw, it would be The Wrestler. I thought that was a
Okay.
very great.
Yes,
The
I
Wrestler.
love that movie.
Very good movie. Prior to that, I was a huge fan of Ready to Rumble. It's just a silly movie, and and I remember watching that as a kid. Like growing up as a kid, like I didn't really know about the whole aspects of like the technical aspects. So like growing up, I did learn over time. Like when I became a performer, I had to like, okay, well maybe this person is not as good. But anyway, to get back to the point of my story, my favorite growing up was Goldberg. So I remember watching Ready to Rumble and seeing Goldberg in the movie and all this kind of stuff. And those are like, things that I remember as a child. But yeah, Goldberg was actually my favorite wrestler growing up. But as I got into the business, I was like, well, maybe I don't need to study Goldberg.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Look, he ain't having 15, 20-minute matches, okay?
Not at all.
Wasn't his
Not
thing.
at all.
It was not his thing at all.
But he hits people hard.
Yeah.
But I do love that about him.
That's
Very
that's
hard.
Where you take that. That's where you got that from. I like that.
Mhm.
Well, look, so I got something. I'm gonna drop this on you. I did not let you know unless you watched the show ahead of time. In which case, what
Right.
we'll do is we'll pause it and you can watch a couple episodes and then
Yeah,
we'll come
yeah,
back
yeah,
to it. No,
yeah.
I'm kidding.
Right.
But we play little trivia every episode here. And,
Oh no, I suck at trivia.
Look, it's all good. So I designed these
We
games.
do too.
This is a new one that I've designed
Oh,
for all of us here. To play. I think it'll go a little bit more in your favor.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start. What I'm gonna do is for each of these, I've got 3 movies I'm gonna name,
Okay.
and then you all have to tell me what pro wrestler was in that movie.
okay,
That
okay.
makes sense. So I've got a bunch here, and we're just gonna kind of go down the list, and if just first person to yell out who they think the wrestler is in this movie, just let me know. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So, and feel free to guess ahead of time too if you want to, but there's only one answer for each of these. All right. So the first one is The Fate of the Furious.
Oh, is it John Cena? Oh no, Roman Reigns.
Well, I've got 2 more here: Project Power
Ah.
and Logan. Who was in The Fate of the
Ooh.
Furious, Project Power,
Oh,
and
that's
Logan?
Luke Hawx.
Luke
It's
Hawx.
Luke Hawx. Yes,
Luke
Brady.
Hawx.
Point for Brady right off the top. Super bad at trivia. Look at this. Moonbeam was like, "Wait, I know this."
She was on it too. She knew.
Well, I knew the Logan one.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do another one here. How about fighting?
So
with my-
are you saying all 3 first before we?
No.
Cool.
Feel free to jump in as you want to. You can guess whatever you want to, but
Gotcha.
you have to have all 3 before you get the full picture, I guess, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So the next one is the movie called Fighting with My Family, The Water Boy, and Jingle All the Way.
Big Show.
Big Show.
It is a big show, yes. Point for Brady.
Hey.
We just said it. I just said it.
Yeah, I see that. Whenever you, yeah, Jingle All the Way. Yeah.
So don't be thrown off by the first one on this next one here. We're going to start with The Longest Yard, Magic Mike.
Oh, Kevin Nash.
Kevin
It is-
Nash. Yeah.
It is Kevin Nash. The last one was The Punisher. Yeah,
I was like,
by the way. We'll be working with Kevin Nash in Lafayette, Louisiana at Louisiana Comic-Con this coming March.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm looking forward to that. We worked with him
Okay.
back in, what was it, September, I think, at Alabama Comic-Con. And it was really cool. All right, well, Brady's running away with this thing, but there's still a chance for someone to tie it
Who
up,
would have
so
thought?
I don't know what we're going to do here now. Okay.
I'm actually pleasantly surprised that I know
You're kicking our ass.
A lot of this is just like you're just being a little bit quicker on the take, too, which I like.
Right, exactly. Everybody knows it, yeah.
All right, so now we're going to go with the longest yard. The Expendables.
Steve Austin.
It is Steve Austin, yes.
Dang.
That was the last one. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Very good. Well, you've already won the whole thing, but I'm going to do a couple
Okay,
more
cool.
just for
Steve
fun anyway,
Austin from Today is the Day.
to see. Yeah.
Sold Stone Cold.
All right, the last
Yeah.
one is called Portal to Hell, Pizza Man, and They Live.
Oh, Roddy Piper.
Yes, right.
Oh, nice. There you go.
I've got one more. I do have one more for y'all, okay?
Okay.
Roddy Piper.
Ready to
Like,
rumble.
did you even understand what I said?
I was able to
We knew where
discern-
you were going.
Red
with
Rover, Red
you know,
Rover.
it wasn't in English, but I was able to kind of figure out. what you were
I'm
going for.
sorry.
Yeah,
we deciphered it.
No, it's all good. So, next up is Ready to Rumble. Got a lot of wrestlers. in
David
there.
Arquette.
I mean, technically, Bolt. No, I guess he's got more of a career now. Ready to Rumble, Bolt, and Spider-Man.
Oh, Macho Man.
Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
cementing the victory here is Brady Pierce right now, everybody.
Yeah.
Bolt, the cartoon dog movie.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm pretty sure like John Travolta was the dog or something like that.
yeah.
Miley Cyrus was in that, I think.
Maybe so.
She was.
Sounds
She
right.
was.
Was she?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds right. I know I've seen it, but it's not a new movie, not anymore.
The little white dog that could talk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
fast, or he thought he was fast. It wasn't. I don't know. There was a.
Oh
whole
yeah.
thing about it.
He plays fast on TV, and then he thinks he's okay.
But
yeah.
he thinks it's real. Yeah, that's the gist of the movie.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a cute idea.
Well, look, you can catch
fun.
Brady Pierce has been on AEW, by the way. You can catch that on the internet as well. You can find his Wildkat matches on YouTube too. Find Wildkat Sports and Entertainment on YouTube. Check that out. Where all can we follow you? Where can we see you in the near future? That is, in addition to Kayfabe Fest on January 13th at the Neshoba County Coliseum. Where else can we find you?
I'm on Instagram at Brady Pierce Official and Twitter at Brady Pierce 1. I have also worked with the NWA in the past. Not really currently working with them, but there's, in wrestling, we never say never. So there's no telling like where I'm going to end up next. Right now, I'm kind of like doing my own thing, trying to like regroup and, figure out what my next steps are, if you will.
That's the name of the game, man. Hustle and figure out what your next step is. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
man.
So
I'm into it.
especially with the new year coming up, I can kind of like step back, do a little rebranding, and then hit it hard.
Hey, that's good.
I just added you on Instagram. I see you got your SAG card after that.
So I've had my
is that right?
yeah.
Or did
yeah,
you
I
already
had
have
my,
it? Did you already do stunts before that?
Yeah, so I got my SAG card with heels.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so I've had it for around 3 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you do a couple seasons of a show, you probably get it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Brady Pierce, thank you so much for joining us here again. The Wildkat Sports and Entertainment Heavyweight Champion.
Here we are.
There it is.
Boom.
Also, he's in
That's
the
awesome.
brand new
Signing
AEW
off.
movie. That being the Iron Claw. Thanks so much for joining us here. Like I said, I know it's later where you are, and
No, it's all
see you
good.
on January 13th at the Neshoba County
Absolutely.
Coliseum.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, thanks for
man,
being
thanks for
here.
coming.
If you haven't already, make sure
Absolutely.
you hit that subscribe button, you hit the like button, hit a comment, leave us a comment, follow us on the socials. As we do, we'll be back here next week for another episode of The Humble Show. But until then, stay humble.